In my time on YouTube and dealing with counter-apologetics, I've come across these ideas a lot, and I wanted to make a video that showcased piece by piece my opinions on these ideas. And there's three that deal with the subject at hand that I think kind of all tie into each other. And one piece is that religion and science are friends, not foes. Another one is that religion answers questions that science cannot answer. And one that they kind of all tie into, but this is another question, is can science and religion coexist? So if we just take it step by step, we can examine the first proposition, that religion and science are friends, not foes. Well, I guess at first, to start off, we need to define our terms here. Religion is defined as, quote, an organized system of beliefs, ceremonies, and rules used to worship a god or a group of gods. Science is defined as knowledge about or study of the natural world based on facts learned through experiments and observations. Science relies on verification and evidence to produce testable and repeatable results, which in most cases are falsifiable and can eventually make predictions based on the said evidence. Religion, on the other hand, relies on faith, or as I call it, the intentional rejection of reasoning, and it uses it to come to conclusions that are unfounded. This is where the main difference is going to lie in this video, and I'm trying to be as objective and as fair to both sides as possible, but I'm also trying to maintain realism. And I understand some people would present the two as if they're on equal footing, but that isn't how reality always works. There isn't always two sides to every story. Faith is not in any way equal or equally respectable to reason. So moving from those descriptions, we can address the first question. Are science and religion friends or foes? And I would answer by stating that the methods utilized by science puts it at direct odds with religion. And granted, since religion is backed up by little more than wish thinking, it can adapt and incorporate scientific findings, but the core of the two, the core of science and the core of religion, are at definite odds. Now to address the second question, does religion answer questions that science can answer? And to begin, it needs to be clearly admitted that science does not answer everything. And this is very true. But in terms of verification and demonstrability, religion doesn't answer anything. And it may be true that science isn't able to answer everything, like why do we exist, in some deep philosophical meaning, not how do we exist. Science can't answer that, but in this sense of purpose and things like that, it's true. Science, at least at the moment, can't answer that. I don't know that science will ever be able to answer that. But if science can't answer that, does that mean that there is a necessary answer to that question? And as I said earlier, what religion offers is really of no value whatsoever. Because even if any of it was true, it has no means of verification, and we have no reason to think that the answers religion gives are actually true. They aren't backed by anything other than emotion, wish thinking. There's no grounding. There's nothing concrete about it. And that's probably why you have thousands and thousands of religions and one science. So still dealing with the second question, I personally find it to be an unfounded question in the sense that it brings out of us an all too irrational motion to settle for bad methods of finding non-answers, and that's faith. And I'll be the first to admit that some deep meaning would be of some consolation, but it brings me no benefit to say, at least as far as I can see, that there doesn't seem to be any deeper purpose, at least one that we can answer and get. When I mean answer, I don't mean grammatically fill in the spot of you ask a question, I put something here that makes grammatical sense. No, I mean actually getting an answer. Religion doesn't give you that answer, and the religion doesn't give you that answer because, like I say, it isn't backed on anything. There's no foundation for it. And this all ties into the third question, which is the point of all of this. Can religion and science coexist? I say people who happen to be religious can do science just fine as long as religion is left at the laboratory door or whatever. Francis Collins, Kenneth Miller, they're really good examples of this. However, The reason they must leave their religion at the door is because, as I just discussed, its methods are not only of no value to science, but its methods are fundamentally anti-scientific. Faith has no place in the laboratory in the context of religion. Science cannot allow for irrational belief, and I really don't know how anyone could argue that it could. Science, by its method, is empirical. Everything's open. Faith is not open. Faith is pretty much, when you're using faith, you're pretty much kept in here. There's no way you can demonstrate it. If you could demonstrate it and you had a reason for it, it wouldn't be faith, would it? And that's, like Christopher Hitchens says, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. So to wrap it up in my conclusion here, I find that science and religion can coexist, but only in a way that they be kept separate. When you're doing science, you keep religion separate. And it actually seems to show that most of the really good scientists who are religious do just that. I don't think they can exist together. Hopefully this will clear up any misunderstandings for anyone considering some kind of mutual camaraderie between science and religion. And if you disagree, I would love to know how, where you disagree on. It seems pretty open shut to me. I don't understand how you can have faith mixed with science, at least in the sense of, trying to get them to work together. I don't understand how you can do that. But maybe you know something I don't, and that's another big reason that I do videos in the first place, because if I'm wrong, show me how I'm wrong, because I'd like to be right. One more thing before I go. I did an interview last week with Chasing Skeptics, and they've put it up on their YouTube page, and I'm going to link it in the description below. If y'all could go check that out, that would be really cool. Tell them Autopsy sent you. And the channel is really good. It don't have a whole lot of subscribers, but his channel is really good. He has interviews with Aaron Ra and Matt Dillahunty and David Silverman. He's done some really good interviews, and I really enjoyed the interview he did with me. So if you could go check out Chasing Skeptics, it's going to be in the box below.